Right, so we've just finished the first week in August, turn 6, and we're about to head into the peak of summer, the second week of August. The weather's still clear in both theatres, and there's been a fair bit of action actually, quite a bit of attacking, and the lines haven't changed much, but they're definitely being pushed around. I think if anything over the last two turns, the Soviets have probably had a slight advantage. Bit more of a deep dive. Germans have pushed across the river here out of the hills, 264 units, corps. The Soviets have rushed up some reinforcements but haven't had the strength to counterattack yet. But that's a first step by the Germans to start pushing down here to tie up units here, because the thing is, from the German point of view, Lvov is about to become a supply city next turn, or this turn coming up, and so all these units here are all of a sudden going to be in supply, and they're quite powerful. The Russians, as you know, have been building up defences there, and but now that the emergency mobilisation is over, it's just a little bit slower than it used to be. In the rear here, the Germans' Axis are basically waiting on the Soviet units there to just be reduced through being isolated. They haven't bothered trying to attack, and like this Soviet army here that broke through in a sacrificial bid and destroyed the corps, the army headquarters, which was good, is now slowly disappearing as well. Up here in the middle, this Soviet supply unit has played a card. I'll go around to that side. Played a card in its turn called that, and that basically means when it's in attack it's got a +2, and so because it's nicely situated with all these units around, even though it's only supply radius 4, there was I think 3 attacks that benefited from a +2 shift, and even with the with one of the German units being dug in, it's still done a little bit of damage, mostly pushing stuff back and reducing it, like that unit there was reduced and pushed back, enabling this army to advance. But, it's been good progress for the Soviets, because they've pushed back here and to such a point that the Germans don't really dare go into that hex. And so that army has been freed up to come round here, and they're now pushing to try and encircle these German forces, or at least stop them from breaking through, I should say, and stop themselves from being encircled. The Germans have got all the way up to this town, but have been pushed back a little bit. And again, the Soviet counterattacks have been quite strong. Even here, there was 3 Soviet armies here that attacked the tank corps, Panzer Corps, and they got pushed back too. It was lucky it didn't lose any steps, and that army from there advanced, and the slightly weaker one went into there. So I think, in a minor sort of a way, the Soviets have been doing a lot of attacks at 2-1, even sometimes 3-1 if they're lucky. But up in the middle here, they've had 4 or even 6-1 attacks, and that's even without using their air force, which is pretty crap, to be honest with you. So in that Soviet turn, they had a lot of fighters that were available in case the Germans were, in their turn, were going to attack, but the Germans didn't really bother to rush repair anything, and so there hasn't been a lot of there was a lot of activity, air activity in the Germans' turn, but not so much in the Soviets. So that's turn 6. I'm probably going to have to try and speed up a little bit, because there's still another 10 turns to go, and although they are getting a lot faster, I've got a game on this table, Star Trek Ascendancy, in a few days' time, so I need to try and get this done. So yeah, it's going good.